Doodads, 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 doodads.
Welcome, everybody. It's episode 26. I did check that. I checked it. I checked
Amazing,
it before we
Dave.
started.
Yeah.
So the last one was all about the washing machine.
Yes.
And this one, it's been about 2 months. I think it was September time-ish. So
Yeah.
September 14th, if I'm going to be really exact. What was the last time? So 2 months have passed. And we're here for you now just to have a conversation between ourselves for you to listen into. So, Jason, how's life been? What's been going on with you?
There's been a lot of things happening, and I was trying to remember because I had a few things I did with my daughter that were really fun, that were a little bit unusual. So we went hatchet throwing, or like axe throwing, and we went to a cat cafe called Mog on the Tyne. Shout out to Mog on the Tyne in Newcastle. Yeah, you go in, have a cafe thing, but then there's all cats around you and you get to pat them and play with them and that when they so wish. Quite funny. I went and watched Critical Role, which I've mentioned on here multiple times, live in London. And that was amazing, watching 12,000 nerds, D&D nerds, or critters, I guess, what they're called as the fans of the show, watching them live, and it was amazing, just the crowd reactions and seeing those people live in the flesh.
You got your nerd on.
Yeah. So they're sort of some of the highlights. There's been more stuff in between as well, but how about you, Dave?
Not a lot, really, actually. To be fair, half term I was ill for most of it. But we went to the cinema. I've been to the cinema twice, actually. Yes, I have. I've been to the cinema twice in the last 2 months. I forgot about the first time. First time we went to see Paw Patrol, the second movie, the Paw Patrol franchise, which was good. The kids loved it. Hattie absolutely loved it. The other two were fine, laughing in the bits that they're supposed to laugh in. A couple of little adult jokes in there that goes over the head, which was really cool. And then the one we went to see the other day, which, and I'm going to chuck this out there, was one of the best animated films I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And it was a proper nostalgia retro fest for me as well. I was sitting there going, oh my God, I'm going back 20, 30 years. Any ideas what it is?
Animated film. Oh, Ninja Turtles?
Nope.
No, I watched that recently. Excuse me.
Excuse you.
Whoa.
Better out than in.
Yeah. At least I didn't bomb over the new mics. Shout out to Rode, by the way.
Yeah, this is, honestly, you'll see it because we're videoing this. First time videoing, actually, so you'll see our faces. If we get around to editing it, which I'm sure we will. Yeah. But yes, lucky old man over there was very instrumental in, it might sound, we always sounded good. The sound is always great, but it feels really cool what we're doing right now. I'll let you explain and then we'll go back to you guessing your film.
Right, yeah. So Rode had a competition where you had to put in 10 words or less why you need an upgrade to your setup for your podcasting. And I threw in a bunch of their product names, and I think they liked that. So we've got all new gear, bendy little arms, new mic, a mixing desk, all kinds of stuff, which is nice and nerdy and fun to play with. Genuinely cannot think of the movie that you are talking about, animated wise. Okay. I think I haven't been to the cinema for ages.
Third one.
The third one?
It's the third one in its trilogy so far.
Trilogy so far?
I love this guessing game stuff.
I genuinely have absolutely no idea. I'm going to kick myself.
Why would I get nerdy and retro-y? Why would I do that?
Like 80s cartoons.
Well, 80s cartoons is a good guess, but it's not that. Well, technically, actually, that would be one nod to what the film is.
Yeah.
But what do I do outside of this? Apart from, don't say nothing because that would crush my soul. But
musical theatre.
Musical theatre, yes.
Singing?
Singing, yes.
Singing. Okay, third singing. Oh, sing?
No. Trolls. Band
Trolls.
Together. It's like, apart from the first one, this one was brilliant. I loved it. Laughed at all the right bits. Some proper adult stuff in there. Some really good nods. But it's boy bands. Boy bands, baby. I was in 2 of them, not very successful ones. And obviously with the whole journey of Pop Stars and Pop Idol, I was just sitting there going, I went to kids, I want to know, I used to be in 2 boy bands, And he went, oh, I didn't. I was like, oh, mint. And
It's time to educate him.
It's
Sit
time
him
to
down.
educate.
You
I
must
was doing
watch all these.
boy band moves on the way home. He was like, "Stop it, Daddy, man." I was like, "Okay, no, I won't." But yes, I would thoroughly, as a parent, as a dad, recommend that film. In whether you go to the cinema, whether you download it, however you get it, it is fun. It is good. Better than the second one.
Yeah.
Probably I would say slightly better than the first one, but that was obviously the first of it. But this was really good. Some really good jokes and nods.
Nice. Do you have any other recommendations? Wow, we've segued straight into it. So why don't, in the meantime, few things that you've been watching, highlights, because there's so many out there.
There is.
So,
Do you know what? There's so many, and there's things that will be controversial that people like. When I say that, it's not like a bad thing, but I love my drama series. I love anything crimey, anything like that. So ITV, and it's not very parents oriented at this. It kind of is, I suppose, but The Long Shadow, which is based around Peter Sutcliffe and the whole police investigation up to that point, and showing the victims in kind of a better, not that they were in a bad light first, but like more in the light. So obviously, whenever you talk about the situation, it's always him at the forefront and the term, the Yorkshire Ripper and all that kind of stuff. This is more about the victims and their stories and how he that heinous acts that he did. So I'll not talk too much about that, but that one, I'm trying to catch up with all the other stuff that I've not seen.
Yeah.
Just caught up with Ahsoka, so finished that one.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Enjoyed it?
Yes. Yeah, it was good. I think I watch it just for the sake of watching it. I think it was the best of a few, I think.
Yeah. I know I disagree because I liked Andor, but I know,
I liked Andor. Andor was very serious in terms of
Yeah.
its tone, and it did exactly. It was a drama series based in the Star Wars universe. That's what it was, like a thriller, crime, whatever you would call it. And the other thing is Loki. So
Loki,
I'm up to, but the thing is, we never watched Secret Invasion. Well, I'm so far out of the realms of everything at the moment because there's lots of stuff we just don't have the time to do it.
I don't think it's a controversial thing at this point. I think it's really dipped since Endgame. And a lot of people that I talk to who are fans of Marvel, fans of comic book movies are also, I think it's that they've hit saturation point and the quality seems to, I think they've spread things too thin and tried to have too much and then people can't keep up. So it's like, well, I'm just not going to watch that or I'm not going to.
What they did, exactly what you said, after Endgame, they saturated with TV shows. They just put loads out because they wanted to make the story go on for the films, I suppose.
Well, they wanted to push Disney Plus, so which is fair enough. It makes sense.
What would have made more sense, and again, people can agree or disagree, what would have made more sense was more standalone films introducing the characters from them TV shows. So, for example, She-Hulk coming in or whatever, and then they could have then went off and did a series if they needed to be, like do a limited series. I think Marvels will be an interesting one. The Marvels, sorry, when that comes out in November. And hopefully that'll start bringing things back in. But the sense of it at the moment is they're talking about bringing Iron Man back. They're talking about bringing Black Widow back, sorry. Do I think that's a good idea?
No, there's got to be some stakes. If you bring back the only heroes that died.
But to be fair, though, with the multiverse and everything, and there's 100% that can be brought back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The storyline isn't far-fetched in terms of they could come back. And yes, they had that death, but you're leveraging how good he is on screen.
Same with Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, exactly. They're good. You know what I mean? Are they gonna rescue it? I don't know if it's in that much. Because I have this argument with like a couple of the lads at work.
Yeah.
I watch things for the sake of watching it. I just want to escape for the hour I'm watching or the 2 hours I'm watching. I do not necessarily dissect it in a way that, you know, a lot of people do. If it's good, it's good. If it's not, at the end of it, if I go, I won't watch that again, then I'll not watch it again. You know what I mean?
No.
Not everything has to have a moral.
No. It can just be entertaining.
Exactly. But, you know, that's an argument I'm sure we'll have at some point with some other people. But other than that, recommendation-wise,
whether to stay away from or not. So I started watching Bodies. I'm really interested by the concept,
Oh,
I
I'm
just
so
can't.
interested.
We
you
got
said
about 4 episodes in, and I was like, there's 4 episodes more to go. I thought maybe, okay, this is going to be a 6 episode. If it was 6 episodes, I was like, I can stay with this. 8 episodes, I went, nah, this isn't worth my time.
Do you know what's really weird? We've not talked about this at all. This isn't planned. We're 4 episodes in. Watched it last night, got the 4th episode. Wikipedia'd what the hell was going on because I had no clue.
I at least have an idea of what's going on.
I kind of
Yeah.
like. I get the premise of it. It's a graphic novel. It was It was a DC one. I get the premise, and it's an interesting premise. But I made the mistake of Wikipediaing what was going to happen in the next 4 episodes, and literally I couldn't make head and for them. What I was reading, I was like, I don't understand what's going on here, and I'm like, I don't know if my tiny brain will be able to understand what's going on here.
Okay.
But my wife's watching it as well, so we're in it. So I'm gonna have to stay till the 8th episode. But mate, and I'm not no detriment because there's some cracking actors in there.
It looks beautiful. It's acted well. The parts of the story, I don't necessarily feel it as invested.
Yeah.
I think, and there are some that I am invested in, and I want to see more of that, and I want to see less of some of the things that they've shown more of and all that.
Yeah, it's got a sense of the filming as well. The filming's very Doctor Who-ish. The filming's very Dracula. They did a standalone Dracula based around, like filmed by the same people who wrote Doctor Who. It's got the same sense of filming. You can tell it feels like a BBC One tea time Saturday night drama kind of scenario. Bit of musical theatre nerdy nostalgia here for you. The guy who plays in Modern Day in 2023, her boss, who is the one who was in the caravan but walked out of the caravan,
Right, yeah.
blondish hair, called Mike Gibson. He was a musical theatre performer who originated Our House, which was the Madness musical about 20 years ago. He was the lead in that. And he was King George, is it George? In Hamilton in the West End of when it came over. Nobody needs to know that, but I just thought I'd put a bit of musical theatre nerdness in there for you. But yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, dude, because that was weird. But we started that the other day, so we're kind of dipping in. Like I did 2 episodes. I just went like, that's it. I'm not doing any more tonight. I can't. Yeah. It was like 10 o'clock.
It is. It's definitely one you need to concentrate on,
absolutely.
not one you can watch and be on your phone at the same time.
I'm trying. We're in Jack Ryan, the final season of that. We're a couple of episodes in. We need to revisit Reacher on Prime because we didn't finish that first series, and the second series is coming out in December. And the second series looks good. The trailer actually looks really good. I've watched the prequel one for Invincible, which was about the girl, but I haven't watched the first episode of the new season, which I'm going to start.
It's a very interesting way to start the season.
The prequel or the first episode?
The first episode of the season.
I haven't seen it yet. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll be watching that at some point, maybe later tonight or something.
Yeah.
But other than that, dude, what about, like, apart from you and bodies and stuff, is there anything else?
No, there's not really. I mean, I've been watching with Jess where Spy Family is back. So anime wise, she really likes that. It's funny. Have I just talked about Spy Family before?
Nope.
So Spy Family is a secret agent in a kind of like, I think it's supposed to be like similar to North and South Korea kind of environment. So he's in the West and he's from the East. One way or the other. Either way, he's not from that area. He's a spy. He's like the top spy, and he needs to get into this meeting with a top general from the other side. And the way they're found in is that his kid goes to this school, so he needs to create a family that then can go into this school and make friends with the kid, and then he can then meet this general and try and get in good with him and find out what they're planning, because I think they're thinking it's going to be like this massive attack or whatever. So they're trying to get this information. And so he goes to an orphanage and gets a kid, then realizes that he's going to need a mother as well. And it's just ridiculous. So the kid is not very smart, but she's telepathic. so she can read people's thoughts. That's such a mansplaining thing to do.
It's fine. I got it.
You don't know what the word telepathic is.
Oh.
Let me explain it even further. No. So she's telepathic, and then they get, he's like, oh, I can't be a single father. They won't let me in to this prestigious school. So he's like, oh, I've got to get a mother. And this woman comes along who is an assassin. And she's trying to find a cover because people are starting to question why don't you have a boyfriend? Why don't you have like so on and so forth? And so she it's good for her to join up with this, but she doesn't know he's a spy from another country. She's an assassin for the one that he's spying against, and you've got this telepathic
Let me guess.
child as well.
They're going to fall in love, yeah.
There's tension.
Okay.
There's tension there, but there's nothing sort of progressed.
Okay, what's that on? Is it on Netflix? Prime?
Crunchyroll is what we
Crunchyroll.
watch it on. Okay. I think it then becomes available somewhere else, but Crunchyroll is where we watch a lot of anime stuff. So that's what we've been watching as well. And I'd highly recommend it. It's a good
To be fair,
family,
my daughter might like that kind of stuff.
yeah, family one for the ones that like anime kind of
I'll
stuff.
have a look
as
at
well.
that. I'll have a check on that one.
But I think we've gone enough, unless you have a searing recommendation. You're like, you must watch this.
No.
There's nothing.
Nothing.
Like,
I'm sure the Christmas period is going to bring out lots of stuff. But how many days to Christmas? Do you know?
46.
47.
I saw a sign that said 48, and that must have been last night, but it feels like 2 days ago.
I asked Siri this morning for the kids in the car, so that's how I knew it was 47. So there's gonna be lots of stuff cropping up. There'll be new series and all that we can talk about next time round.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do one before Christmas. We will. 100%. We'll make sure. We'll have to do one.
Well, I've got an idea, but I'll run it past you when we're not recording.
Oh, is it a secret?
Yeah. It's a secret, so we'll keep it a secret. And if we do it,
we'll do it from Lapland.
The other you know, there's this funny thing. So I listened to a podcast called Hamish and Andy.
Okay. Why do you listen to other podcasts?
Because
just out of interest.
To look at the competition, but also just to enjoy myself as well.
We're not mentioning Stephen's podcast today.
His podcast is amazing.
It is. It's very good.
And Sophie.
Yes, and Sophie.
Sophie's as well.
Yes.
If I get no, I'm not leaving this in. We're going to cut this out. Beep. Oh wait, that's a different podcast. No, so this podcast called Hamish and Andy, that they are famous for having what's called a Peter out. So they will promise a big thing, a Peter out.
Okay.
And so they have Saint Peter out as a patron saint of their podcast, because they often promise they're going to do things and then they don't. So my idea is I'll just not mention it.
Okay.
And then if it happens, it happens. If it not, but or we could go boldly with it. But yeah, I think so with Christmas coming up, and we know people are Christmas shopping and all that kind of stuff. Have you already bought some things?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a poor man sitting over here right now. We did our first Christmas shop the other day. Obviously, the off chance my daughter might listen to this podcast, I don't think she will, but I'm not going to tell you exactly what we've got. It'll be 2 electronic gadgets for the kids. One is a replacement to one she already has. The other one is their first ever one. You can make your minds up from that one. Santa is going to be bringing them for them. Now, people might criticize that for the ages that my kids are, but we work in the environment we work in.
It's an interesting one, isn't it? You see spectrums of that where people are like, all the other kids have it, so I have to get this for my kid. And it's like, well, you don't have to.
No.
But there is that pressure, isn't it, that you don't want your kid to be left behind and be the only one that doesn't have a device or
our thought
whatever.
process is more him getting used to it, or her getting used to it initially, and him getting used to it now. If I could have rolled back time, I probably would have been a bit more hesitant, just because that'll roll on to something I'll talk about later in terms of Violet and schooling and going into GCSEs and all that kind of stuff. So we'll talk about reminders on. We'll talk about that. But in terms of other stuff for the kids, we went to Smith's toy shops. Other toy shops are available, and I have to say that apparently. and we spent a fair bit of money, but we managed to get all of the stuff done pretty much. The only
Okay.
things that we need to do now is going to be little presents like stocking fillers for them and presents for my wife and just the family. That's it.
I am on the other end of the spectrum. I have done nothing.
Well, it's still only November.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason we're doing it is because I'd saved the money up for that specific thing. And it was a time that we were both off and we thought, let's go get it done. It's 2 months out of the way. That means I've got 2 other pay packets before the big day. So that means I'm going to worry less about it. I don't know. Just to take the fun out of it. Yeah, it's weird to when I was younger. When I was younger, I used to do all my Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
I was, yeah. So because I worked all the time as a member of staff for like Top Man, Top Shop, and all the other shops I worked for, like over the years, and I only really had to buy for my brothers and my mum and my dad, and my grandparents when they were around. But I used to just fly by the seat of my pants on my lunch,
Yeah.
or the day before, you know what I mean, or whatever. So now it's just being organised. It's gonna be weird when they're all grown up, and do you know what I mean? Because I have 3 of them to buy for. Do you know what I mean? So it's a freaking nightmare.
Yes.
I'm allowed to say that word? I don't know.
You'd be saving money, but I don't think you necessarily stop. It depends how you go with. There'll probably still be some Christmas related thing, or you'll just buy that thing not around a Christmas time, and it doesn't make it as special, does it?
No.
Till they potentially have kids.
Mate, I am. This is the weird scenario about where I am in my life at this moment in time. Obviously, everything I have goes to my kids, my wife, and that I wouldn't change that at all. But I've been thinking as I get older, like I've been looking at pensions. I've been looking at when I can retire. I mean, it won't be for at least another 20 years. But I walked around with my wife the other day, just thinking, I could do this. I could when retirement hits, if I'm healthy enough, I could it would just be so nice to just chill. But, you know, it's another 20 years of hard slog. Or next year's about adventures. And when I say adventures, I mean, this is what we're doing now is part of the adventure. And the equipment that we now have, or you have, but by virtue the podcast
By
has,
proxy.
This is something that's great. And I think performing and the media and all of that kind of stuff, that's something I want to kind of explore a little bit more, which I haven't really done. I've done a little bit this year, but you're kind of the other side of it, as in you're in amongst it, but you get to see the other side of the camera. I want to be the one side of the camera. So hopefully,
this is weird for me being on camera. It's weird.
Well, it hasn't broken, so you must be doing something. I mean, it's not cracked or anything.
We'll wait and see.
Yeah. Hey, look, we do this because we love to do it. We love to chat, and it's nice and it's interesting. We did it, and I'm going to say this: we did it in not the infancy of podcasting, but we did it in that first year that podcasting started to come out of COVID, and everybody was doing it. That everybody was kind of thinking about it. We're 3 years into it now, and it's a natural conversation when we have it, and people have said that, and people have said, look, it's, you know, it feels natural and normal, and it does. Nothing seems forced, and we just need to build on that. And with the equipment and a bit of producing and a bit of lists and stuff like that. Planning might help.
Yeah.
We potentially could take it to somewhere that we could, you know, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to, but
If you'd like to be a producer for this podcast, you can email us at thedoodads@icloud.com, or you can get us at our socials on the the Doodads Pod on Instagram and the Doodads Podcast on Facebook. And I think we're still on Twitter.
And we have a TikTok page.
Or we have a TikTok page as well. What's it?
The Doodads
It's just
Podcast,
the
I think it's
Oh,
either the Doodads or the Doodads Podcast, but just look up on TikTok.
Yeah. 3 words. The Doodads.
And if anybody's ever interested in why we come up with the Doodads, answers on a postcard. No. Doodads. Things.
I
Doing stuff.
think it's in our first
Dads who
episode.
do-
If you haven't listened to the first episode, is we are
Dads who-
chronic procrastinators. And it was kind of for us to be, you know what, we've got to do things. And we want to help other people have as things, oh, what can I do? What can I watch? Where can I go? All those kind of things. And sort of be a little bit more like that. So, yeah, so if we could sort of tighten
he's
it up a
doing
little
stuff
bit.
with his hands. But you know what? Watch the videos for that. You'll see what he did there.
If we can knit it together and be just a little bit tighter, a little bit more produced. I like how we do. We're stream of consciousness, you know.
Yeah.
We're not we cut out a few little things here and there, but most of it is.
Yeah, most of it, what you hear is what we talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yes, let me talk about what I was going to talk about in terms
Okay,
of
yes. Schooling.
schooling.
Things like
So that's an interesting one because obviously we are dads, we are parents, and we're talking about this. So I'll kind of talk about an experience I had. Yeah, go for it.
Before you go into that,
Yes.
we will talk about that. One, we haven't had any jokes. Can you think of any jokes so we can put it in the middle?
I did
Have you got any
one
jokes,
the other
Dave,
day, but
before we get on to schooling? Secondly,
yes.
your hands on the table are rocking the thing. Can you do without that? I don't know. You're the one editing the video, but it does look like this is moving a lot
Just told me off. Did you see that?
on the thing. I've been consciously not like when I'm reaching for things doing this. I won't put this in.
Teacher's pet. No, keep it in.
You wanna
Teacher's
leave
pet,
this
top
in?
of the class. You know what I mean? I've not done it, Dave, but you've been touching the table.
Well, I'm just mindful of you edit. You can stabilize the footage.
That's fine. It's got action
But-
mode in it.
Is it on action mode?
I don't know.
I don't think it's.
Who knows? I don't know.
So yeah. Anyway, so Dave, you said you wanted to talk about schooling and your daughter.
Yes.
And so I think was it around devices as well? Is that?
Yeah, it's got a bit of that. So it's a strange one, and this is just maybe something that other parents are coming across. So my daughter is coming up to, she's the year before GCSEs, so she'll be going into her GCSEs next year. She's got to choose them by the end of this year and everything. But yesterday was the first time she actually had like what we would call an emotional kind of moment, where she's got homework due for Thursday. It wasn't going right for her, and she had a proper little cry meltdown. She's never normally like that. Now, the dad in me obviously knows she's had her homework for about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and she's leaving it at the last minute. But it's just an interesting thing because obviously I wanted to have holiday time and I wanted to enjoy and chill, but she's on YouTube and Roblox and Minecraft, and I just find it difficult because I become the ogre, as in the mean parent, I suppose. I'm not really mean, but you know, seem to be the one, and Amy does as well. So I don't think that we don't parent because she's a fantastic mum, but it's just difficult. I mean, I sounded like my dad. I love my dad a bit, I really do. But me talking to my daughter yesterday felt like me being talked to by my dad, in terms of my dad telling me everything that I was telling my daughter. And I don't think it was me emulating my dad. I think it was me just being a parent. So now it was a point where I was thinking, oh, now I know what he was talking about. But at the same time, I know what it felt like to be at the other end of that conversation. So it was a really weird moment yesterday. And I was just like, what do I do at this point? Because I'm asking her when her homework is. And she's going, oh, I can't remember. And I'm like, that's not good enough. I need to know when it's, you know what I mean? Or do I need to know? But it's you need to know. But you're not telling me. You're going, oh, I don't know. It's like, you need to know when. And I don't think there's any point of me what I'm saying here. I just think it's like just an interesting. I just want other people to know that if you're feeling in that point where you're a parent, you think, what do the jobs that we're in, you hear these sides of the conversation all the time. You're not alone. It's normal. It's fine. Everything will be okay if you kind of just step back, I suppose. I don't know if you want to jump in.
No, no. You were saying it perfectly. I think I've had some of those moments with Jess. It's like you realize this is what she needs at the moment. It's not a friend, not someone who's pally, but like you need that person who's going to set you straight and tell you how it is and be the parent rather than a friend or, just that. It's weird. But I've had some moments recently where she has surprised me in her, like it's seeing that growing up things as well. So yes, we have the same thing. Like as a kid, my mum tells the story. She said, when I got home, I would want to do my homework pretty much straight away. That changed later down the thing.
Yeah,
and obviously I'm a procrastinator. We've talked about it here. But I think I wanted to do that and I wanted to get it out of the way so I didn't have to worry about it later. And that's a lot of the time I do that now, but sometimes at the wrong time. So it's that whole, it's like, oh, I'm thinking of this task. I must do it now. It's like, oh yeah, but we need to leave. It's like, no, I just need to do this one. So seeing Jess what was the one recently that was, it was like very like conscientious decision to do something. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but we still have the, what day is it? Oh, it's Sunday. What do we do on Sundays? Oh, empty the bin. I'll do that. I'll do it. And it's like, I'll do it. I'll do it later. Sitting on a phone, come back later on. What haven't you done? That, and it's like, I sound like a parent, but that's what a parent has to do. Yeah. And you don't want to just do it for them because that's,
it's exactly what you just described. It's kind of like, tidy your room. You're still on this. Why is that not be done? And it sounds like we're nagging them, but I think, and again, this is going to be a sweeping statement, and it's not meant to, shame any parents or anything like this. But I think at this point, we're not teaching. There's a proportion of parents not teaching their kids life skills. But basic ones like be on time, tidy, cook. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. It's like, and I can't say that I do that every day with them either. So I don't know. Anyway, quick.
Oh, you've got a joke?
No.
No.
It's a fact.
Oh,
a fact
okay.
Right, okay. Did you know that Lord Nelson was 5'6", but the statue in Trafalgar Square is about 300 foot. So that's a ratio of 3 to 1.
It's a joke. Not a fact. But it's good.
I just made them stats up, to be fair. I can't Google any jokes.
I know. This is the problem with having our phones is the videos. Sorry, that's my fault. I should have left my computer out.
No. We're supposed to be able to pull these jokes from nowhere. I don't know how many. Yes, you are. Dear me. I should be writing every single joke that I tell at work down. Oh, what was it? Oh, this isn't funny. I'm not even laughing for the joke. I'm laughing for the fact of who said it.
Yeah.
So where we are at work, there's a security guard that works opposite. And he doesn't work for us. He works for this fashion chain across. He's an older guy. He's in his 60s. And he just comes into the shop, or into our shop. So that shop must be getting ransacked every time he comes in ours, because he's in ours for about 20 minutes. And he just goes around the whole of the store telling them people the same joke. So I'll tell you if I can remember it. It's not even funny. How much does shampoo cost in London?
I don't know. How much does shampoo cost in London?
£10.
£10? I don't get it.
So Pantene's
is it a place?
No, it's a make of shampoo.
I know it's a make of shampoo, but
so in London you go £10. See, told you it wasn't funny. So Cockneys would go £10.
Oh, £10.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
My
Okay. Yeah. But I think I gave that the reaction it deserved.
It's fine. You told about 5 people, and nobody laughed. So you got
that's
the same
like
reaction.
the one that I kept saying, and Joe was like, "Why are you saying that? You're not even northern." Is going around to people like the weather. It's a bit George Michael, and they'd be like, "What?"
Oh yeah,
I
like that one.
It's a bit wham.
Bit wham.
I got giggles, but is that the look when people just like George Michael?
That's on my TikTok page. I've got a picture of them two going. It's a tad, and then just a picture of them two underneath. That was when it was we had the heat wave the other year.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So we've had a little bit of a deep conversation there. We've told some really bad jokes.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on the jokes, Dave.
Well, do you know what? We need to produce. That's what we need to do.
Yeah, we need a producer.
we don't. We need to do it. We need to produce. Producers.
Okay. That's so much work.
Do it. Not.
But Dad, I don't want to do it.
But yeah, so coming into I'll get my hands off the desk.
Yeah, I hit the table as well, so they'll be like,
So yeah, have we got any shout outs for anybody? For anything? No, we've already promoted.
we've already promoted
them last time. I will say I am going to appear on another podcast just as a guest. I will never leave this podcast.
What's the name of the podcast?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why?
Because you can't
Stephen
Google it.
Gregory's podcast. Hi, Stephen. Big
Dads,
shout out.
papas, and father figures.
Like a big. Oh God, he's such a teacher's pet, isn't he? Yes, that I'm going to appear on that podcast.
I'm just jealous because he hasn't asked. No, he has asked me. That's not.
Oh, did you turn him down? Did you?
I didn't turn him down. We just haven't scheduled a time yet.
So I'll be doing that. Stephen Gregory. I'll be doing that. God, we promoted. Does he have to pay us £1 every time I mention his name?
Yeah, but I think
I'm sure that's
we've got a
the rule.
sponsorship deal.
I'm sure
Did you not get the check in the mail?
Oh, okay. I'll have words where I want to say them. Yes, so that, and if you like true crime, then Sophie Patterson.
Now you're questioning.
Let's go.
Who Let Us podcast?
Yes.
Yeah.
So got those two. Other podcasts. Yeah, might as well talk about. I mean, I looked up some stuff for my daughter to listen to.
Okay.
Because that's what I'm trying to get into the mindset to do that. There was a couple of history ones because she wants to do history at GCSE. And she wants to do vet stuff. So I can't remember the names of them, but we looked at that. I am going to try and start. Oh, I did do the 10%. It's not a podcast, but 10% app, which I did that for a month and I managed to do it.
Oh, you actually did it. You didn't just set it playing and then just leave it.
No, I actually did it.
Okay.
I missed 2 days at the beginning, and then once I got me 25 days, I did 26 and 27, and then just stopped after that because I was ill. But that got me back into thinking about stuff, like from a healthy mind perspective.
I think you have to pay for that though.
No, it's free.
Is it free?
You do have to pay for it. We don't have to pay for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
People
have to
listening to the podcast would have to pay for it.
Yes.
Well, assuming that the people listening to this podcast aren't people that we work with.
Yeah, pretty much. I would say that would be. I don't even think they listen to it either.
Well, not maybe this far.
No, exactly. Just fast forward.
Sorry, Alphabetti.
Alphabetti Theatre. I missed it last week because I was ill.
Okay.
So I'll be going back again on December the 11th. So shout out to Alphabetti Theatre. They don't know me. I've only ever been once. But it's a nice little kind of off the beaten track, fringe kind of theatre. So I'm going to go back there and do some singing. And hopefully that's
Shoyogi, it's called.
Shoyogi, yeah. So basically you get to sing show tunes. And it's people who have never been on stage, people who maybe have done it in the past, people who like to sing but don't necessarily like to do it in a big stage. So that's good. It's a pity that there's not that kind of stuff all the way. There might be, so if anybody knows of anything. But yeah, it's kind
Just at iCloud.com.
Exactly.
And the socials.
Yeah, and the other bits, TikTok.
My podcast recommendations.
Go on then.
I've really got into, and I know I'm way behind the curve on this one. No Such Thing as a Fish. Yes, my hand off the table. Thanks, Dave. We're going to have to leave that in now so that the joke's about it.
I didn't say anything. That's what I purposely just went like that. But you said it. Anyway, go.
No Such Thing as a Fish. The guys who do researching for QI have a podcast. It's great because you can drop in at pretty much, I think there are some running gags which are funnier if you've listened all the way through, but I've picked up some of them as we're going along. But yeah, I found that really funny. I don't know, have I mentioned Rude Tales of Magic?
I think you might have.
Okay,
I don't know
I'm
how in-depth
up to date with them, really enjoying that still. And yeah, I think they're the two main ones that I've sort of added to my regular listening sort of rotation. Catalog. Yeah.
I would say catalog. No. So that was the world of podcasting. What I'm going to do is we'll come with a few more of them because I think it's nice to just shout out kind of stuff. Because if you find yourself listening to this, you obviously like to listen to podcasts.
No,
I think. I don't know. But we're going to do a little bit more with the videos. We're going to hopefully get you to see us out and about. At some point next year, I think we'll get back with the walking boots on and go somewhere because I think we've all missed it this year. The other two boys that are on that. So Take a Hike will come back.
Well, Alan and I went some paddleboarding and
did you?
kayaking. That was good getting out and doing that. I don't know if we talked about that last time.
I
I
don't
can't even
know.
remember.
I wasn't there.
But that's been good. Getting out, doing things, definitely noticing the difference between exercising and when I don't do it, and the correlation with mental health as well. So
Yeah. Well, I've lost 1.5 stone. Thank you. I probably told everybody that. So I might as well tell everybody in the podcast.
you're looking good, Dave.
I've dropped it since I was there last week. But yeah, and that was just adjusting diet. Didn't even do any exercise. Probably a little bit more walking than I would have done, but just normal from the metro to home. But yeah, I feel better. I don't feel as lethargic, so it's good. So I'd recommend, if you are wanting to kind of just drop a little bit of weight, not drastic weight, just look to cut and look to calorie count. That's the only thing you really need to do. And then from then on, you can springboard into kind of exercise. So that was something that happened. But other than that, man, I think
Yeah.
Christmas is coming
Yeah.
around the corner. Christmas markets, our recommendation list will probably swell by the time it gets. We'll probably aim, what's it now? We're into November. We'll aim at the beginning of December to do the next one, if possible.
Yeah. Okay.
And then we'll have lots of recommendations for you.
See, this is the thing. You've made a promise now.
Yeah, I've made a promise.
To the listeners.
No,
and
we
to
will.
me.
And to you. We'll make a promise.
This is what I say. If you don't say it on the thing, then we don't have to.
Well, you're
don't
going to
necessarily
tell me
put it out.
whatever you were going to say, off air, apparently. But yeah, we'll get everything. So it's just been nice. It's really, I know they say this and they have national campaigns, but it actually is good to talk. And to talk to this fellow across here, it's natural. It's very therapeutic, and I would recommend it. You don't have to do it in a podcasting scenario, but if you just find your mate and go for a cup of tea and
Yeah.
that is something that does everybody the world of good, and it sets the world to rights. But with that in mind, so we have done roughly an hour, actually, I think it's kind of 40 minutes.
40 odd minutes.
40
yeah.
odd minutes, which is a good amount of time for a podcast, I think.
Yeah. Although not many jokes.
No, not
And that's
many
our
jokes.
fault for not preparing.
That's our fault. It's one of those things where when I'm at work, you can't shut me up for jokes, but I can't, at this point in time.
It's on the spot. You're like,
Yeah, I'm so I will write my joke. I'll have my little joke Bible for next time. But yeah, so where can you find her if you need to contact her?
the doodads at iCloud.com on email, the doodads pod on Instagram, and the doodads on Twitter. It's just the doodads, and then the doodads podcast on TikTok and Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully at some point we can shorten it down to just the doodads on everything.
Yeah.
But it's
It's a work in progress. We'll get that sorted. But if you've got any questions, if you've got any things you want to talk about, if you want to shout out anything, please get in contact. But thank you very much for spending this time listening to her.
Yeah, if you got this far, congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you very much. But yeah, like I say, if you need anything, reach out. We're always here to lend an ear. Okay, so it's goodbye from me.
And goodbye from me.
Bye.
Last word.